So, one of my viewers reached out to me with a water fountain idea that they've been building and they've been having some trouble getting it to work. So they sent me some photos and a little context on what they were trying to accomplish, and I think I can remake it myself because I've actually made a fountain like that before, and I think my parents have the fountain head that this viewer is using. So if I can, I'm actually gonna run up to my parents' house and grab some scrap lumber and that fountain head to build your fountain for you so that you or anybody else who wants to build something similar can learn from this video.
Travis, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Do you remember that old like hand pump fountain thing we used to have at the old house?
Yep, I know where it is. It's at my house in the yard where the dogs are. It's just sitting in a bucket there. It's gotten quite, it was bright red and it's now kind of white because of all the oxidize. But you're welcome to grab it.
Boom! Let's go. Okay, so here are the photos that I got sent for this water fountain. Rather than try to draw up an explanation for how this could work, I'm just gonna make it here with what I've got. And I'm gonna do my best to recreate the wooden framework she has here. And we're gonna get this to work here so that you guys can copy it for yourselves. So this is pretty much what your water feature looks like, and you have there's a hole drilled here for the water to go through. The problem is with your reservoir in here, inside this, with your pump in here, your pump is above where the water ends up. So you have to get your pump lower than where the water is, certainly below the surface, preferably down at the deepest point. So what I propose is move your reservoir out of here to just underneath the whole platform, which the most convenient thing would probably be to run to Walmart and get like a plastic basin or Tupperware container. You might be able to get one for less than 10 bucks. This one's a little tall, but it'll serve for our demonstration. So I'm gonna reset all this up on top of my reservoir here, and we're gonna get our pump running through it and see how it looks. So if I were putting this in somewhere permanent, I would change this so that this comes off more even. Right now, mine's not even in place. It's just standing here. I would try to make this cleaner so it was a more steady stream. My fountain here also leaks out the bottom, but my reservoir is also narrower than it should be. So if you go to buy a plastic bin, I would measure the inside diameter of your frame here so you can get a box that best fits it. If you can't get a box, you could frame in your own. If you made another wood frame inside and used pond liner instead of a box, you could put some pond liner under here and then have it all underneath your decking. That would work. But let's say you have this and you don't want to see just this bucket that's ugly. So we're gonna do two different ideas. So if you have your board here with a hole in it, you could do that. So leave your boards in place, drill a hole through the bucket, through the hole, so the water goes through the bucket into your reservoir underneath. You can put rock in here or plants, and it'll just constantly look like a bucket is being filled at the pump or the well when it's just cycling the water through. Another option, which I think might look cool, would be to put some sort of frame in here or a net, or I'm gonna try using some weed cloth to hold rock up right here so it looks like it just flows into the ground. So I'm gonna try that. I have some weed cloth out back. I'm gonna put some weed cloth here and some river rock and see what that looks like. I suppose you could just fill the bucket with rock and then you don't have to worry about netting or cloth here. The hard part about that is the more you clog up your reservoir, the less water volume you have. The less water volume you have, the more you'll have to refill it, because then you lose water to evaporation. I could have put more rock here, but I didn't actually nail my cloth down. I just set it there. So if you did this a little stronger, you could completely fill this with rock. Or if you wanted to do different colored gems or marbles, you could put anything in there you wanted. And if you just put a potted water plant in here, it will just grow and blossom and have a flower and this trickle. The main takeaway from this experiment here is your pump has to be below the water level, preferably at the deepest point within your reservoir, and you just need a bigger reservoir. So wherever the water ends up, the pump has to be at the furthest point downstream. So you can't have your water exiting down past where your pump is picking it up from. These submersible pumps are not really made to suck water up from somewhere. They're meant to be submerged at the bottom and push the water out, which is why I've moved the pump down here into the bottom of the reservoir. Things I like about this one, it's all self-contained. If you constructed it fairly well, you could theoretically pick it up and move it wherever you wanted. You didn't have to dig a hole. You could set this on a deck. You could put this under a covered patio. All the water, all the plumbing is contained within this framework, so you could move it like anywhere if you wanted to. So that's basically it for this fountain build. Hopefully that helped or answered your questions, or at least gave you some ideas. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to me. You can either comment below or message me on Instagram or somewhere. If anybody enjoyed this video and learned something from it, leave me a like, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna keep doing these. I have plans for a much bigger water feature build behind my parents' house on a hill. It's gonna be a stream with a big waterfall in it. So if you wanna see that in the future, subscribe, follow along. I'm trying to do one video every week. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.